minds there?
Everyone has their own personality. Everyone has their own way of doing things. Julianna, I don't think anyone likes to hear her talk, so maybe she should take a page out of Rocky's book and shut the fuck up.
Earlier this week in an interview with Volkanovski and Dan Hooker, you said that you would elbow Julianna for free. She responded, made some comments about roid rage. Are you sure that wouldn't be a bit more of a personal affair?
Again, I would do that for free, but I really want to be UFC champion. I have more finishes than Julianna has wins, so I don't know what she's talking about. She better slow down.
Julianna, any response?
I know violence, and Kayla just got here to the scene. As far as I'm concerned,
Just got here. I've won 2 Olympic gold medals. I've been doing.
what does that
sports since I
have
was
to do with
6
being in the
years
UFC?
old, honey?
What does that have to do with being in the UFC? As far as I'm concerned, the last time she faced a Brazilian, she came running into the UFC. So if I have anything to say about
You started your career in 2009. You're 10-5. I started in 2018, and I'm 17-1.
yeah, it's easy to be 17-1 when you're fighting frickin' tomato cans.
Who have you
Kayla.
fought?
What was that? Who have you?
Who gave her a mic?
The same person that gave you one, sweetie.
So I guess what is it about you that kind of draws all this attention and all this criticism from your fellow fighters?
I don't know. I guess have some type of way that gets under people's skin, and I really don't know what it is. Maybe you guys can tell me. However, I will just say that it's a compliment.
Listen, this is the difference. This is the difference between me and all of these girls. I come here and they complain, she skipped the line, she's on steroids, it's not fair, she shouldn't do this, she shouldn't do that. If this was my division and I was the champion, I would say, come the over and I'll show you who's champion.
And I do have to ask, did you watch Kayla's fight? And if you did, what did you make of her performance?
I was, to be honest, I'll tell you, I was warming up and focusing on my own fight. But with that being said, I had my coaches there watching the fight and kind of giving me the 411 on what was going down. We're not impressed. She said she was going to put an elbow through her skull and she was going to, do all this damage. Like, the girl didn't have a scratch on her. It was boring. And she didn't do anything that, jumped off the pages like, ooh, the boogeyman, you know what I mean? So I was definitely, especially with, hearing from my team, not impressed.
It's almost been spoken about as fact that she was going to fight for the title. Do you think that was a fair assessment of her skills, or do you think maybe there is a little bit too much hype around her?
I think that at the end of the day, it's very apparent that she was ducking Chris Cyborg in the PFL. I don't know anyone that would pour in that much money to one specific person like Don Davis to have her as a face of his brand, and then only for her to not forego her contract at the PFL. She was running from Chris Cyborg, everybody knows that, and of course, because she had such a big name there, she was able to jump the line in front of all these other women that had put in so much time and effort into making this bantamweight division great. So, do I understand it? Of course. The machine is a moneymaker. If it don't make money, it don't make sense. And at the end of the day, this fight makes sense, and that's why it's being done. But no.
Kayla, just curious about your response to those accusations and comments.
Listen, I'm not ducking anybody. I'm not running from anybody. I came to the UFC because it's the best organization in the world. And according to that, you should be the best fighter in the world. And on June 7th, we're gonna find out.
That's what they all say. That's what they all say.
Do you think that has something to do with Kayla, or Ketlin was just tougher than maybe Kayla gave credit to?
I definitely think that at some point or another, like Ronda, when you figure out the one-trick pony of being able to stuff a takedown, you realize that the fight is more competitive and more even than, people want to give it credit for. So I think that, once you stuff the takedown, you realize that you're actually in a tougher fight than you thought you were. And I think that that's kind of what played into her head tonight.
Kayla, obviously the goal is to win the belt, but would it be a little bit sweeter to be able to win it off Julianna, considering the little bit of needle between you two?
Oh yeah, I'm getting paid to have fun right now. I'm getting paid to put an elbow right through her skull.
Yeah. That's what she thinks, but at the end of the day, how are you going to beat me, Kayla? How are you going to beat me? You
Julianna.
literally are gonna be, first off, actually, I wanted to know, are you okay, honestly? Because I know that you have to like piss blood, spit blood in order to weight drain yourself, you weight bully, to make this division in the first place. This is gonna be your first fight at 135 pounds. You don't get God making that extra pound from 137 to 136. You have to make 135.0, and it's the first time that you're in a 5-round, 25-minute fight in my world.
It's not the first time in a 5-round fight, sweetie. Do your homework.
Okay, do your homework. You're fighting a bunch of grandmas that are ready for the freaking wheelchair.
First I was ducking Cyborg, now I was fighting grandmas. Which
first
is it?
pro to five fights. Girls that have never ever fought again after they fought you.
Listen. You better thank God for that extra pound. You're gonna need every little thing you can to help you.
How are you
and
going
on June
to beat
7th,
me, Kayla? How are you going to beat me? You're gonna lay on top of me for 25 minutes? Good luck. You're gonna knock me out? You're gonna knock me out? Good luck. I think we saw right there. How you doing, Amanda? She wasn't able to knock me out. I have never seen you knock anybody out. You're gonna knock me out? You're gonna submit me? You're gonna win in a dogfight? Good luck.
How big do you really think that Kayla Harrison fight could be? Because if we're honest, I mean, she does have a lot of hype around herself. You just got the belt back, so how big could that fight be in your opinion?
Yes, if Amanda cowers away again and does not come back and fight me, then yes, you're absolutely right. Kayla brings a lot of eyeballs and a lot of attention to the sport, and I love that.
Actually, that brings me on to my next question. I did notice Amanda Nunes was sitting down here. You know, there's a trilogy been discussed. Kayla, you and Amanda's always been discussed. Could the winner be the person to draw Amanda Nunes out of retirement for a massive fight later this year?
Is that for me?
No, it's to Kayla and Julianna, but if you want to answer.
I'll answer that. At the end of the day, Amanda hates Kayla more than she hates me. That's a fact. She wants nothing to do with me, and she wants to fight Kayla. That's why she's sitting in the back, and as Dana said, she retired a little bit too early. She's waiting to see what happens, but she wants to fight Kayla more than she wants to fight me because she knows that that's a big freaking fight, and it's going to be a long night in the office, just like Kayla knows. That's why she's being a lot nicer than you guys have ever seen her before.
Another one for you, Julianna. In your first reign, you were not able to get a title defense. If you're able to defend the belt this time around against someone of Kayla's stature, would this make it a more satisfying title reign this time around?
At the end of the day, I'm just out here to do my job. It's not the first time I fought a gold medalist. The last time I fought an Olympic medalist, I put him to sleep. So it's nothing but another day in the office for me. At the end of the day, I'm going in there to have fun. I'm a dog. I'm uncomfortable up here right now. I want to get locked inside the octagon. I want to get locked inside the octagon.
You fought a 40-year-old Olympic silver medalist. You got your ass kicked
40-year-old, you are
and
like
then
a 40-year-old.
You
Aren't
got
you like
one
41
lucky
years old? I'm
takedown,
pretty sure
and
you
you
lie
finished
about
her.
your age. Pretty sure you lie about your age.
And for you, Kayla, obviously we've been wanting to see you fight for the UFC title since day one, but having these 2 UFC fights to get the experience, kind of get more comfortable with the environment, how much is that going to enhance your performance this time?
None of it doesn't matter. I'm coming for my belt. Giuliana's going to be
It's not your belt. It's not your belt.
It doesn't
your
matter. I'm
Your belt is
comfortable.
at PFL.
I've been competing
with
on the
your 2
biggest
gold
stages
medals
in the world since I was 20 years old.
Last time I
So we're
checked, it
gonna
was
find
an
out.
MMA fight, not a judo match. Get your facts right, sweetie.
I'm gonna.
And just
Me too.
Don't wait for long due to the aggressive weight cut. What are your thoughts on this?
I signed a contract, you know, the weight class is 135 pounds. I plan on going in there, becoming UFC champion, and reigning for a long, long time.
Not if I can help it. Not if I can help it. She knows that she's scared. She's pissing blood already just thinking about it. You look hungry, Kayla. You look hungry. You look like you need a walking taco.
Yeah, I'm hungry to whoop your ass. 8 weeks from now, you're going to find out.
Yeah, we'll see. You look.
Nothing tastes as good as gold feels, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you look like you're leaning out into the division real nice there. You're looking a little skinny. I like it. You need a walking taco, I think.